Jayson Tatum has emerged as one of the league's most dominant all-around players, excelling both offensively and defensively. Since becoming an NBA champion and an Olympic gold medalist, Tatum has made his mark not in just the league, but around the world. His unique playstyle in NBA 2K25 allows for a build that can truly do it all, making him one of the best players to replicate in the game. Now, Tatum's career speaks for itself: a 4-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA first team, NBA champion, Olympic gold medalist, and it's crazy to think that his career is just beginning, setting him up to be one of the most elite players in NBA history. And as a leader, Tatum embodies the qualities that you really want in an archetype that can bring firepower and lead your team both ends of the court. Now, this build is one of the most versatile that I've played with this year, and it's capable of dominating in any game mode and setting. You know, one of my favorite moments from Jayson Tatum was when he dunked and posterized LeBron James early in his career. And that moment not only just was a highlight, but it was a statement, putting the league on notice. It's this kind of fearless play that has made the Celtics one of the most profound teams and contenders in the league today. And Tatum is a player to watch in every season, especially right now. Tatum's at the peak of his game, with just a few players being able to match his all-around ability. Particularly on the offensive side, this is where he can do just about anything. And you're going to see that coming out of this archetype, so when you craft a Jayson Tatum build, it's crucial to balance the contact finishing with shooting from the outside. And this is really going to encapsulate, you know, that perfect mix of these qualities that he maintains, and it makes it an ideal leader for any team on the offensive side. And in NBA 2K25, you know, the trend leans more towards inside scoring and post scoring, but this archetype bucks for that trend, and you know, it offers a blend of scoring options. It's not just about following the meta, but it's about being able to create a build that can do anything from slashing, shooting, and making it a nightmare on defenses to guard and be a nightmare on defense itself. But for being a slasher this year, it's one of the most enjoyable experiences, you know, not only for the contact dunks, but being able to know that you're a consistent threat in the paint and being able to get legend posterizer. This makes a significant difference. So what's special about this archetype is its ability to really capitalize on defenses that focus too much on the paint, and it allows you to either posterize them or hit shots from deep, especially if they leave you open. I got a jump shot on this archetype that can pretty much just about green from anywhere, and that's going to be perfect for this archetype. Now, finding a jump shot that works with lower 3-point shooting attributes, you know, can make you one of the biggest threats on the floor. Whether you're finishing or shooting, even with less emphasis on this build's defensive stats, the presence is still felt, and I think you can really assert dominance pretty much on both sides of the court. And there's no weakness with this archetype, especially when paired with the right teammates. Whether you're playing in the 2s, the 3s, 4s, or even 5s, this build excels as a solo player and a team player, and it can really enhance any lineup. I'm telling you, man, one of my favorite aspects about this build is the passing. So for a high rating, you know, this actually allows you to be the main orchestrator on your team. Whether you want to be a point forward or point guard, this build can do it all. And in NBA 2K25, it feels like almost game and any playstyle can succeed, which is a positive for new players, especially for those of y'all who are just diving into NBA 2K25 for the very first time. This year, it seems like NBA 2K25 is really catering to that new player environment, and this is where you can actually explore different skills like post play, shooting, and dribbling. You know, this build with this firepower, it doesn't struggle against post scorers or even big men, and I think it makes it versatile enough for one-on-one or even team play. You know, the variety of animations and moves available this year has really allowed me to, you know, experiment with different moves, and it brings a fresh element to every single build that I drop for y'all. You know, with the introduction of pro play and the new animations, I feel like it's only easier to replicate some of these NBA star moves. You know, one area that I actually do feel like can be improved is the fluidity of the animations, and you know, you need to be able to combo out of different animations without being locked into certain animations that you start with. So if a player could pretty much transition from one move to another, I think that would open up a variety of not only play styles, but which moves would be more effective. And I think this would be a significant W for the community, and especially for those of y'all who love to dribble. You know, the fact that the game is catering to new players, it can be seen as a positive and a negative, but for veterans, it might seem that it lessens the value of their experience when they're putting into playing, you know, grinding out. I think it's an opportunity for, you know, new players to catch up, because with the introduction of RNG shooting, and that's pretty much what it means, is random number generators. So with shooting this year, it aims to pretty much balance everybody's shooting percentages out, and it does allow players for elite skill levels. Let's just say you're hitting consistent greens, eventually it's gonna make you miss one green because you're shooting so consistent, bro. The game is pretty much telling you that you're too good and you need to miss. That's exactly what RNG is. Now what it's gonna tell you is that if you're missing so many shots, eventually it's gonna allow you to green one or even just make a white, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have experienced that as well. Now this has sparked a debate in the community, and I feel like those of y'all who have put the time into master the game should be rewarded without having to worry about missing shots or being penalized for being so good. And you know, RNG actually does ensure that the less skilled players aren't penalized as much, and you know, the effect isn't immediate, but over time, man, it can really play toll on a game, and it can feel almost unfair to those of y'all who have really put in the time to, you know, learning shooting, dribbling, or any type of skill in NBA 2K25. And if RNG were removed, I think it might push the community to, you know, not only catch up in skill, but just put in the time to actually learning how to dribble, how to shoot, any aspect of the game that you're struggling in. You know, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this. You know, how do you feel about the balance and implementation of RNG in NBA 2K25? Do you think that it's truly beneficial for, you know, the community to grow, or does it actually, you know, take away that competitive spirit? Does it push away people from actually playing the game? Personally, if you're a good player, you're gonna find a way to win every single time. So I would like to know your thoughts in the comments, and also let me know which NBA player builds that you'd like to see next. You know, with players like Jayson Tatum, it often does give me that same feeling of being able to replicate his moves in the actual NBA in NBA 2K25. And with the fact that we got so many animations to pick from this year, I think this is one of the best 2Ks that we have gotten when it comes towards actual animations, man. It cannot be compared to any previous 2Ks. I stand on that. So I really encourage y'all to try out a build like this that's different from what you are normally used to. Whether that's being a slasher or a post scorer, you know, it's gonna change your approach to the game, and specifically in how you strategize and the way that you play both on offense and defense. You know, your responses in the comments have truly been amazing, and I just want to say thank every single one of y'all for continuing to support. You know, it's not just about bringing y'all builds that can do everything, but being able to replicate the best players in the NBA. And you know, with this kind of Jayson Tatum build, it's not just being able to do what he can, but really capture what the NBA is today. The ability to lead, score, defend, and make clutch plays. This build is a testament to that. And finally, I really just want to say thank you so much to Rich family for supporting, coming through every single day. God bless every single one of you. This has been one of the most fun builds and archetypes that I've used this year, especially when it comes towards being all around. I can say even on that defensive side, this build is definitely going to be able to hold its own. And even more so when it comes towards the animations that you can get. You're getting everything from contact dunks, upgraded pro dribble animations. Even when it comes towards the passing styles, this is something that is extremely overlooked on many builds, man. I feel like dribbling on taller builds is honestly more enjoyable than dribbling on shorter, but that's each to its own, especially when it comes towards the actual moves that you are using. So if you want a little tutorial on the animations that I'm using on this kind of archetype, I'll be sure to put a link with a pop-up card. You can go ahead and check out that video. You know, with this archetype, I have gone against post scorers, lockdowns, 5'9" playmakers, even 6'3" slashers. I've gone against everything, and I can say on the defensive end, if you equip the correct motion styles as well as emotes, and yes, emotes is mandatory for stopping post cheese, you're going to be able to get some pretty nice stops on that defensive end. I can say this build is pretty efficient on both ends of the floor, and even if you wanted to make any type of adjustments and changes, you can definitely do so. But this is going to be an archetype that can do just about anything, whether it's on the defense or offensive side, and that is something that I truly enjoy about these archetypes. I think height plays a huge factor when it comes towards defense itself. I've actually gone against, you know, shorter builds that have high defensive stats, especially strength, and I can say it doesn't matter if you're not at least 6'5" and higher, man. So that is something that I just want to give y'all a little tip about. If you're making a build for defensive purposes, be sure to put that height up at least, I would say 6'5" up to 6'10". But I just gotta go ahead and say thank the Lord above, King Jesus, for another day and another opportunity. And if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Smash that like button. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down TG for thank God and where you're tuning in from so I could get back to you with a response. And with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.